Hey guys, welcome back to 50/50 Showcase episode 33, part 2, 33A. Airdrop, Mercenaries, Force Field, Heat, Mastermind. At least that was the build that I presented yesterday. I was thinking about it a little bit and I thought, hey, maybe I should kind of follow through with one of the suggestions I had during that video. So the idea that I was talking about was maybe looking at slotting pets for things other than, let's say, damage of the ATO. So I thought airdrop could be a nice little sort of test on that. So last time, this was the build you saw, and it was mercenaries, and you had force fields, and you had heat mastery, and I had the ATO sets and 2 out of the 3 pets, and I had the recharge intensive pet. You're slotting into the third pet commando. That was the basic idea. And then I was just hypothesizing or theory crafting, if you will. Hey, what if you were to try to leverage some of the things that the minions and the lieutenants and the boss pets could do? So, for instance, these guys are able to be slotted with some controls, some defense debuffs. You saw the soldiers' heals and defense debuffs as well. Defense debuffs, some knockback. And so if you look at sort of the common theme of the 3 types of mercenaries here, commander, commando, spec ops, and soldiers, they all have that common minus defense. So what if you leaned into that instead? And so obviously I can do that, but with force field, I'm not sure how great that would be. Because I was thinking in my head, what if you had redid this guy from scratch, and rather than trying to get all this defense, let's say with force fields, what if you leaned into that minus defense? And so part one of this is going to be I'd have to get rid of force field because force field doesn't have any minus defense. Maybe I could figure out some way to include it with some incarnate, stuff and whatever else, but wouldn't be very effective from the get-go. So I think if you're going to try to lean into some pets, secondary effects, and mercenaries seem mostly to have that minus defense as their thing, then you need to start from scratch. So that, mind friends, is what I'm talking about, or what I'm going to do here. So let me go ahead and clear this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me pause the vid for 1 second. And voila, I am back. So cleared all the slots, as you can see, but I also swapped to radiation emission from force field. In radiation emission, one of the things it has is radiation infection, which has the minus defense. It's a toggle, minus defense, minus to hit. So I thought if you went with, let's say, Merc's radiation, that could give you a nice way to stack some minus defense on the entire group of enemies you're facing, not just from the bullets you're blasting them with, the mercenaries, and your own bullets, by the way, because you have burst that has minus defense. The other 2 do not, unfortunately. But you have at least one, blast here that has some minus defense, and then your 3 types of mercenaries have minus defense. And then if you could throw out a radiation toggle here, RI, that would give you some more minus defense. And then I not only was in my head thinking that, I was starting to think ahead because one of the things that you can get from the minus defense sets is your good old friend Achilles heel here, chance for minus resistance debuff. And so I was thinking, what if you slotted these soldiers, spec ops, and your commando with at least that special little ATO, no, sorry, not ATO, IO, unique, not unique, er, but this little proc. This way, all of your bullets that your friends, the mercenaries, are firing out are going to have a chance to proc minus resistance. And hey, why not put it in your own? So now I've got 4 right here ways of minus resistance, and I'm doing the minus defense, right? Now you'll go back and take a look at why I actually was going for radiation infection, because it's not so much the minus defense, but if you take a look at this, I can come in here and throw it yet another one in here if I want to. I now have 5 of these minus resistance debuff Achilles heel procs. But wait, there's more. That's cap, by the way. I don't think you can put any more of that specific IO anywhere. But take a look at this. Enervating field is your other toggle in radiation. Minus damage and minus resist again. So just throwing out enervating field is going to have a minus damage resistance built into it. So I'm just going to kind of just put a placeholder slot here, or IO, just that, so I can kind of mark it. So if you take a look, I've got 1, 2, 3 of my pets who shoots bullets that are going to do minus defense naturally and chances to minus resist. I have a, machine gun burst that also has a chance for minus defense and minus resistance. I have radiation infection toggle aura that I can put on an enemy that will have minus defense and a chance to proc minus resistance. And then I have another toggle aura, enervating field, which does have minus resistance on it right there. So just glancing at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 powers have minus defense with chances for minus damage resistance, and 1 power has minus resistance all by its lonesome. And then I started thinking, because I know there are other powers out there that have this minus resistance as well, and it is sitting right here, Annihilation, in targeted AoEs. So even though my M30 grenade, my other blast power, does not have minus defense built into it, I can certainly get the minus resistance debuff from the M30 grenade AoE. Sorry, I had to pause for a quick sec there. Someone at the door. But I think I was saying that, Annihilation here gives you some more resist debuffs. I was just thinking about it. You could throw that over here in Fireball as well, right? Give you some more resistance debuffs. And then to kind of sweeten this deal more is if you go down to your, I would not go down to the incarnates. I would not go diamagnetic this time. I would, let's see, go to my interface, and it is, I'm looking for, either you could go here, paralytic, minus defense, minus damage. That might be actually the best option. So, every attack has that chance for minus defense and a chance for the minus damage for protection. You could go reactive, which gives you some more damage resistance debuff proccing chances, plus the fire damage over time. So there's a couple options there. I would probably lean towards the paralytic, actually, just because I think you're going to have plenty of damage at this point. The way I'm looking at this build and this new perspective, I'd rather go for something more protecting, the minus damage being the thing here, because if you select that, every time any of your bullets or your pet's bullets hits, minus defense, which great, That'll stack with all the other stuff, and then the minus damage will give you some increased survivability, which you're gonna need because you no longer have force fields bunch of defense powers, right? You've only got radiation mission, which has a heal, and then these debuffs, and most of the debuffs we're going for are, offensive debuffs. We're trying to lower the defense of the enemies, and then lower their damage resistance so that we can just shred them into pieces. You know, so really, your only survival mechanism is going to be the heal radiant aura. Now you do have other options. Now I would have to change the complete, gameplay here, playstyle, because airdrops is a stand back force field bubbler, from range. I probably wouldn't go with group fly anymore. I don't think that is. I mean, you could still do it, but you're going to be more melee. And the reason you're going to be more melee is, well, the toggles are going to help with that. You don't really have any way to control people from charging at you, so you might as well charge into them. But I would say your big thing is going to be right here, choking cloud, similar to what I was talking about with nature's entangling aura on my Sport King Ninjas mastermind I just did the videos on. I would leverage the crap out of choking cloud, so I can just go into melee. It's the same idea. It's an auto hit hold. It's got a lower magnitude, but I would sit here and pop in the lockdown proc on this guy to give it that +2 mag. There gives me now control. I'd go into melee with these toggles running. Choking cloud, drop the radiation infection energy enervating field. You could use lingering radiations, another nice little debuffy power. Slow the crap out of your enemies. You could drop bonfire right underneath them. So I think that playstyle wouldn't benefit too much from the whole fly stuff. So I would probably ditch, flight pool completely. And I would probably go instead, because I'm planning on getting into melee and whatnot. I'm probably going to then go fighting pool, would be my thought. Take boxing, take tough, give me some of that survivability. Maybe throw, see where the heck did boxing go? I need to go over here. Get rid of kick. I don't want kick. Get rid of kick. I don't like kick. I'd go boxing, take tough. You could take weave if you wanted it. You don't have to. You could grab hasten. Hasten probably be a good idea, just to have accelerate metabolism, be able to, between AM and hasten, your recharge would be pretty nice. If those two are clicked, it's give you 100% recharge right there with those two powers. So maybe go with the recharge idea and running in there, choking cloud. Hmm. I'm just trying to think if heat mastery would be the best idea with this concept as well. Let's check something else. Because the problem with heat mastery is there's no shield, there's no armor. So you might have to go, something else. Anyway, I don't know the exact armor I would take, the exact secondary, but instead of the bonfire concept, you might have to switch it up. Anyway, you can see, like, this would change the whole build, right? Duh. You couldn't do forces, but that's how I would start puzzling through, how would I go about taking mercenaries and leveraging the pet's secondary, or the pet's secondary effects. So mercenaries has all this minus defense. I would try to leverage the crap out of that. I haven't actually looked at the sets themselves, the accurate to hit debuff sets. The accurate defense debuff sets. Analyze weakness. There's got some regen, some energy negative resistance, some damage buffing, so that might be a nice set. If you were to grab that 3 times, that's going to boost overall damage, accuracy, right? Give you some energy negative resistance. So if I'm going to go energy negative resistance, that's going to help me start to figure out what shield I might want to take, because I could go with, let's say, charge mastering. Actually, no, not that. Man, the mastermind sets suck, it seems. I guess they're thinking, oh, you got all kinds of ways to keep yourself alive, but no. Maybe Mew Mew, because that gives you charged armor, which has smash lethal energy. So if I went with that, then I have the tough. That's going to give me pretty close to capped smash lethal, and then the energy resistance would combine nicely with stuff like analyze weakness, which is going to give me the 2.25% times 3 at least, because I'm going to put this into, my soldiers, my commando, my spec ops. I might throw it into burst as well, so I could get that 4 times easily. So that's gonna be like 10%, or 9%, I think, energy negative resistance right there. So I could build up a decent smash lethal energy resistance build just real quick off the top of my head using something like analyze weakness. And then I could make up for some of the damage loss, because I'd have, with 4 slotting this thing, I would get 12% damage boost across the board. And then I could try to make up some more damage from, coming back down here to the incarnates, maybe rather than going for the defense stuff over here anymore, because I'm not leaning into defense anymore. I'd come up here to incarnates and change my alpha. Instead of agility, recharge, endurance mod, defense, that stuff, maybe I go and look at musculature, right? That gives me, actually, that's a beautiful one. Check it out. Damage, immobilized, defense debuff to hit debuff, endurance mod, run speed. That would probably be a great one right there, because if I go with radial on that, that's going to boost overall damage for me and, the pets and such. It's too bad this doesn't, hold on a second, you guys can't see it popping up. So if you go ahead and take muscular radial, all right, that's going to go ahead and boost damage for me and all the pets. Immobilized duration is going to help with the, I believe it's the spec ops have it as one of their enhanceables. Yeah, so they can enhance immobilize. So I think they have web grenade with spec ops. So that would help them. Defense debuff, that would help everybody. To hit debuff, that would help the radiation. What is it? Radiation infection has that minus the hit. Endurance mod, that's going to help accelerate metabolism. That's going to help stamina. Run speed, everybody runs faster, so that's useful. So I would say muscular is probably your choice here. You got the paralytic for the, this is what I think where I left off. I was talking to kind of lower the damage of everything coming in. So that's going to help if you switch over to a more resistance, heal-based defensive strategy. Also, enervating field has minus damage, so that would stack nicely with paralytic. Because I'm going more into melee, I would probably also get rid of Vorpal on the judgment side and maybe just go for the big old mighty knock-up. I love that one. Big old boom shakalaka. That could be great. Probably stick with support core. That plus maneuvers, tactics, and salt's going to give me across the board at least some more damage, accuracy, and I think it's out of the core. Let me just double check this. Back to the incarnate power window. You guys can't see this pop up on your, but radio, I thought one of them gave, oh, you know what? I'm set a support core. Maybe I might even go melee. Regen, resist, status protection. Let me just check that out. What if you did that? Melee core, regen, damage resistance, status protection for everybody. That could be another switch I'd make. I might stick with ageless because I think I want to run out of endurance. I'd like to get the extra recharge, so I don't see that necessarily changing. But you know, if you if you decided that you wanted to try to lean into Mastermind Pet's secondary effects. I mean, it's going to change the whole build. You couldn't just go force field. I mean, you could, but to me, that's sort of round peg, square hole type of thing. I don't think it's the smartest play. But I could sit there and take this Mercs and turn him into a minus defense, minus resistance, debuffing monster, and change myself from range, shooting down range, hovering, AC 130 gunship concept into just a surging massive radioactive infected killers, which actually could be freaking fun. I'm actually kind of I'm sort of enjoying the concept, just the theory crafting here. So that's a wouldn't be called airdrop, right? This would be whatever you call this, uh, something nuclear fallout, right? Could be fun, could be interesting. I'm sort of talking myself into this concept as yet another build. Anyway, just wanted to kind of throw that theory craft out there. I'm not going to go through and do a whole entire build unless I actually go ahead and do the make it. I'm not just going to put it on paper because I wouldn't. I'd want to test it, right? I'd want to put my money where my mouth is, type of thing. All right. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there, give that concept to you. So I don't know, maybe some of you guys out there have done it yourselves. If so, let me know in the comments or post on the homecoming forums about it. And I'm gonna go ahead and start running those solo missions I was talking about. All right, we'll be back.